In the early 1990s, Cuba's rural farming communities adopted agroecological production methods, largely out of necessity. With the end of the Cold War and the collapse of trade with the Soviet bloc, Cuban farmers did not have the inputs needed for production. They were forced to innovate, and they worked with researchers to find ways to farm that did not rely on a petroleum-based culture. Animal traction replaced tractors, and locally produced products took the place of the fertilizers and herbicides that they had previously imported from the Soviets. Now, hundreds of Cuban farms are managed using techniques that include crop rotation, green manures, polycultures, agroforestry, and crop and livestock integration. I was able to see such a complex agri-system in action when I visited Maniabo, a farm in Las Tunas province. Cooperatives like Maniabo were established when the Cuban government reorganized agriculture in September 1993. This type of farm is called a UBPC, or Basic Unit of Cooperative Production, and it now forms the largest sector of Cuban agriculture. UBPCs are smaller than the old state farms, and they are member-owned and member-managed. The cooperative, not the state, owns production, and each member's earnings are based on his or her share of overall income. The UBPC also owns the farm's buildings and equipment, but the state retains ownership of the land, leasing it out on a long-term basis rent-free. Most UBPCs produce sugar, but Maniabo's focus is on milk production, dairy. In addition, the farmers there try to grow as much of their own food as possible. When I visited the farm, it was also producing livestock, eggs, and various vegetable crops. The workers were especially proud of the worm compost that they sell to urban gardeners in the nearby city of Las Tunas. The Maniabo Cooperative is particularly well known for what is called pedestal technology. This is an intensive rotational pasture system that increases the surface area for cattle grazing by integrating areas sown with Bermuda grass and areas sown with legumes. Because the grasses reseed, resowing is not necessary, but both Bermuda grass and high-producing legumes require an adequate supply of moisture, and Las Tunas province goes for long periods without adequate rainfall. To solve this problem, workers have devised a gravity-driven rainwater catchment system that provides enough water for the area to be irrigated 3 hours a day year-round. While cooperatives have directly benefited from the shift toward integrated or agroecological production, small farmers working on privately owned farms that are not cooperatives have also decided to adopt agroecological practices. I will talk about them next.